Hello viewers, welcome back to English Only Zone. Yesterday we understood the first part of the story, how I taught my grandmother to read. This story is from new NCERT English book. The name of the book is Kaveri. What we have read in the story, let's have a quick recap of that. So this story is about a 12-year-old girl who used to stay in a village in North Karnataka with her grandparents. Those days the transport system was not very good, so the people of that village used to get their posts, magazines and newspapers late as compared to other people. During those times, Triveni was a very popular writer in Kannada language. She wrote many novels, and one of her novel, Kashi Yatre, was appearing as a weekly episode in Kannada weekly magazine Karamveera. So this girl's grandmother was very eager to know the next episode of the story, and she asked her granddaughter to tell or to read out the next episode to her. Why she asked her granddaughter to read out the episode to her? Because the grandmother was illiterate and she could not read or write. She was very eager to know about the next episode of the story because she identified herself as the novel's protagonist. Like novel's protagonist never went to Kashi, and it was her ardent desire to go to Kashi and worship Lord Vishveshwara there. Similarly, this girl's grandmother also wanted to go to Kashi. And after hearing the next episode of the story, this girl's grandmother used to discuss about the story with her friends in the temple courtyard of the village. Now, once what happened, this girl went to a wedding in the neighboring village and she stayed there for 1 week. And during that period, the weekly magazine Karamveera came, and the grandmother was eager to know about the next episode of the story as the episode came in that magazine. But as she was illiterate, she could not read anything. She tried to rub her hands on the pages, on the pictures along with the storyline, but she could not understand anything, and that's why she realized how dependent she was. Although grandmother was quite rich, she had a lot of money, but she realized that still she is dependent upon others. So she decided that she should learn how to read and write. And she asked her granddaughter when she came back from the magazine, from that wedding, to teach her how to read. Now let's understand the next part of the story. I could not understand why my 62-year-old grandmother was telling me, a 12-year-old, the story of her life in the middle of the night. But I knew I loved her immensely, and there had to be some reason why she was talking to me. I looked at her face. It was unhappy and her eyes were filled with tears. So now this girl, the narrator, could not understand why her 62-year-old grandmother was telling the story of her life to this granddaughter who is just 12 years old, and that too in the middle of the night. But what she knew was that she loved her grandmother very much, and there must be some reason why she was telling her life story to her. She looked at her face. It was unhappy and her eyes were filled with tears. She was a good-looking lady who was usually always smiling. Even today I cannot forget the worried expression on her face. I leaned forward and held her hand. The grandmother was a very good-looking lady, and she was always smiling. She had faced all the difficult situations of her life with smile. And till today, this girl could not forget the worried expressions on the face of her grandmother. And then she leaned forward and held the hand of her grandmother. Ava, don't cry. What's the matter? Can I help you in any way? Yes, I need your help. So this girl asked if the grandmother needed any help. So the grandmother agreed that she needed some help. You know, when you were away, Karamveera came as usual. I opened the magazine, I saw the picture that accompanies the story of Kashi Yatre, and I could not understand anything that was written. Now she told why was she worried. She said that when she was away for the wedding, Karmveera magazine came as usual. She opened the magazine and she saw the picture that accompanied the story of Kashi Yatra, which was there given along with the story of Kashi Yatra. And she could not understand anything that was written as she was illiterate. Many times I rubbed my hands over the pages, wishing they could understand what was written, but it was impossible to understand what was written by merely rubbing hands on the pages. But I knew it was not possible. If only I was educated enough. It was possible only if the grandmother was educated. I waited eagerly for you to return. I felt you would come early and read for me. She felt that if it would be better if the granddaughter could come early and read out the story to her. I even thought of going to the village and asking you to read for me. And she was so eager, she was so keen to know about the next episode of the story that she thought of going to that neighboring village only to ask her granddaughter to read out the story to her. I could have asked somebody in this village, but I was too embarrassed to do so. Now see how much studies are important for us. This grandmother wanted to know about the story, but she felt embarrassed asking someone else to read out the story to her, to feel that she was illiterate. It was so embarrassed. She was so embarrassed. I felt very dependent and helpless. We are well off. But what use is money when I cannot be independent? She said I felt very dependent. And these people, they were well off, they had enough money. But what use of money when one cannot be independent? I did not know what to answer. Ava continued. This girl couldn't answer anything to her. I have decided I want to learn the Kannada alphabet from tomorrow onwards. I will work very hard. I will keep Saraswati Puja day during Dashera as the deadline. That day I should be able to read a novel on my own. I want to be independent. Now grandmother decided that during the Saraswati Puja, during the Dashera festival, the Saraswati Puja day will be kept as the day of her deadline to complete all her reading and writing. She said that day I will be able to read a novel on my own and she will become independent after that. I saw the determination on her face, yet I laughed at her. Ava, at this age of 62 you want to learn the alphabet. All your hair is grey, your hands are wrinkled, you wear spectacles and you work so much in the kitchen. Now this girl childishly made fun of her grandmother, that she was of 62 years, at this age she will learn alphabets, and all her hair is grey, means she was getting old. Her hands were wrinkled and she also wear spectacles, and she has a lot of work in the kitchen. And apart from kitchen, she has other household works also. Childishly I made fun of the old lady, but she just smiled. But as the grandmother was determined, she smiled. She said, for a good cause, if you are determined, you can overcome any obstacle. I will work harder than anybody, but I will do it. For learning, there is no age bar. So grandmother said, told her granddaughter that there is no age bar for learning. And if we are determined for a good cause, then no obstacle can stop us from achieving our goals. The next day onwards, I started my tuition. Ava was a wonderful student. The amount of homework she did was amazing. Even after spending a lot of time in kitchen and in other household work, Ava used to do a lot of homework also. Because now she was determined to learn something. She was determined to be independent. She would read, repeat, write and recite. I was her only teacher and she was my first student. She got her first student at the age of 12. Little did I know then that one day I would become a teacher in computer science and teach hundreds of students. So maybe by God's grace, she realized at that time that she could be a good teacher. The Dashera festival came as usual. Secretly, I bought Kashi Yatra, which had been published as a novel by that time. So till this time, Kashi Yatra was not published as a novel in the form of a novel, but when the Dashera festival came, by that time it was published as a novel. My grandmother called me to the puja place and made me sit down on a stool. The girl's grandmother called her to the puja place and asked her to sit down. She gave me a gift of frock material. Then she did something unusual. She bent down and touched my feet. Now, grandmother touched the feet of granddaughter. I was surprised and taken aback. She was much surprised because it was something very unusual. Elders never touch the feet of youngsters. We have always touched the feet of God, elders, and teachers. So she said that Ava is quite older to me. She is my grandmother. Then why is she touching my feet? We always touch the feet of our elders, of God, and our teachers as a mark of respect. We consider that as a mark of respect. It's a great tradition. But today the reverse had happened. The one who was older was touching the feet of a younger one. It was not correct. She said, I am touching the feet of a teacher, not my granddaughter. To this, the grandmother replied that she was touching the feet of a teacher, not her granddaughter. A teacher who taught me so well with so much of affection that I can read any novel confidently in such a short period. So she further continued that she was touching the feet of the teacher who had taught her with so much of affection, with so much of love, and with so much of dedication that she could read any novel confidently in such a short period of time. She further continued, now I am independent. It's my duty to respect a teacher. Is it not written in our scriptures that a teacher should be respected irrespective of the gender and age? And then she said, is it not written? She asked actually that is it not written in the scriptures that a teacher should be respected no matter what her age is, what her gender is? I did return her namaskar to her by touching her feet and gave my gift to my first student. And this granddaughter also, she did namaskar to her grandmother. She touched her feet also and she gave the gift which she had bought secretly to the first student of her life. She opened it and read immediately the title Kashi Yatre by Triveni and the publisher's name. When grandmother opened the gift, she was able to immediately read the title of this novel, that was Kashi Yatre. By whom was it written? By Triveni and the publisher's name. I knew then that my student had passed with flying colors, and it was this time when the granddaughter knew that her student, that is the grandmother, passed with flying colors. So this story was written by Sudha Murthy. I hope you have understood the story. If you have any doubts, you may write them in the comment box. I'll try my best to answer them as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, please press the like button and share it with your friends. Thank you.